Okay, welcome to another installment of Math Basics with Mr. Besh. Today what we're going to do is take a look at percents, decimals, and fractions. My objective is to teach you how to convert back and forth between these three. Now this is a 6-step process. Some of the processes are very easy. You only have to do one thing in math. Others you have to pay very close attention because there's a couple intricate things you need to do. First things first, what I want to do now is I want to teach you how to convert decimals to percents. This is really easy to do. In mathematics, you simply multiply your decimal value by 100. My example here is 0.3 becomes 30%. How? I take the decimal 0.3, multiply this by 100, and then this makes 30. Now this is taking a decimal and making it a percent. The second step that I want to take a look at is converting percents to decimals. Now I'm going to do the exact opposite of what I did. Now I'm going to start with a percent, 40%. And this is going to become 0.4 because now when you make a percent a decimal, you simply divide the percent value by 100. So 40 divided by 100 will give me 0.4. Step number 3, converting decimals to fractions. Now this is the one that requires the most steps involved. By no means is this difficult to do. When you convert a decimal to fraction, here are your steps. The first thing you do is you make the decimal value a percent, just like what we just did a second ago. The second thing that you do is create a fraction by putting the new percent over 100. So now after you make your decimal percent value, then you take that percent that you got and you put it simply over 100. And last but not least, you want to take your fraction that you have and reduce your fraction into lowest terms. So taking a look at an example here, 0.3 becomes 30%. Now I take my percent and I simply put it over 100. So now I have a fraction 30 over 100. Now that's a good fraction, but we want to make it great. And we do that by reducing it into lowest terms. So now I want to find a number that goes into both the numerator and the denominator of my fraction, the biggest value, and that's 10. And then I want to take the top and bottom and divide them both by 10. As a result, my fraction in lowest terms becomes 3 over 10. And this is taking a decimal and making it a fraction. This one here is just one less step, converting percents to fractions, because now you already have your percent. So now all you simply do to create a fraction by putting the percent over 100, and then reduce your fraction into lowest terms, almost identical to what we just did. So if you're starting with a percent like 25%, first thing I do is I put it over top of 100. So I have 25 over 100, 25 in my numerator, 100 in my denominator. And now all I do is reduce it down to lowest terms. 25 goes into the top and bottom number, so I divide each one by 25, and as a final answer, 1/4 becomes my fraction. My fifth step, converting fractions to decimals. This may be one of the easiest things that you do. To make a fraction a decimal, all you simply do is divide the numerator by the denominator. So I take my fraction, which in my example here is 2 over 5, and this becomes 0.4 because I take my numerator, which is 2, divided by my denominator, which is 5, and 2 divided by 5 gives me 0.4. Last but not least, number 6, converting fractions to percents. I make a fraction a percent by doing two things. First, you need to make the fraction a decimal. And then once the fraction's a decimal, then you need to multiply the decimal value by 100. So my example, 2/5 the fraction becomes a decimal by taking 2 divided by 5, and I get 0.4. Then once I get the decimal value, which is 0.4, I then multiply it by 100, and that comes out to be 40. So 2 over 5, which is 0.4 as a decimal, is 40% when I'm done. And this is how I make a fraction a percent. Now, all of these steps are entwined with one another. It's almost like a gigantic cycle. And the sooner you learn this cycle, the easier these problems are going to be. I hope you found this lesson both helpful and informative.